back, so it's official. It is Mallikarjun Kharge versus Shashi Tharoor for the fight in that contest that is happening between for the top job in the Congress party. Let's do a SWOT analysis of these two candidates. Mallikarjun Kharge, what is his strength? He's seen as a Gandhi family loyalist, someone who can be trusted by the Gandhis blindly. He's 80 years old and has a vast administrative experience. His weakness is that his age is not on his side. He's 80 years old and outside Karnataka, he doesn't really have connect. Remember, in Karnataka though, he has won multiple elections when he was serving as an MLA consecutively for almost 9 times. What is his opportunity? The upcoming Karnataka elections, which will happen next year, if he actually manages to win the state, but let's not forget that in the state of Karnataka, the leadership debate is almost settled in favor of Mr. Siddaramaiah, who remains the most popular leader of the Congress party in the state. Now, the threat is that he is going to be seen as someone who's controlled by the Gandhis. So the remote control will be with 10 Janpad. Now, let's take a look at Shashi Tharoor. What is working for Dr. Tharoor? Dr. Tharoor is seen as articulate. He has an appeal among the urban voters, particularly the upwardly mobile. The weakness is that he doesn't have a mass connect. He lacks also the organizational experience, while Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge has led the party in several states, in the sense that he has been Congress in charge of states as well. So he has managed those nuances that is needed in terms of organizational management. Opportunity certainly for Dr. Tharoor is that he can bring in that fresh start, a reset that the Congress party desperately needs at this point. But the threat is that he had to quit as MOS because he faced an inquiry over his wife's death. So opportunity and threat, we have seen all in the case of Mr. Shashi Tharoor. So it's Shashi Tharoor versus Mallikarjun Kharge for who will be the boss of the Congress party. Let me take all questions now to a member of the G23, Prithviraj Chavan, who's joining me live. Mr. Chavan, really appreciate your time. You have been one of the proposers for Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge. What made you come for the nominations?
See, two things, look at the totality of the situation. After 22 years, Congress party is having election for the post of president. This is precisely what we had underlined in a letter written in August of 2020, that there should be a full-time Congress president and Congress president should be elected as per the Congress constitution. Now, this demand was asked, and after this demand was accepted by Mrs. Gandhi. In background of the COVID, it could not happen immediately. But after a letter, she invited some of us, and we had a 5-hour-long meeting at her residence in December of 2020. Unfortunately, 21 was a blank year, nothing could be done. And early 22, she had promised a Shibir. The Shibir happened in Udaipur. And soon after that, the election process got underway. The block committees were constituted, the district committees were constituted, the Pradesh delegates were selected. And finally, the dates for the Congress president's election were announced. So what was promised for a long time actually happened. Even when question was asked whether Rahul Gandhi should become the president, I had very publicly, while thanking Mrs. Gandhi for calling election, said that even if Mr. Rahul Gandhi wants to contest the election through a balloting process, he is most welcome. Till yesterday, there were 2-3 names doing rounds. Mr. Shashi Tharoor did meet some of us, but he had not very clearly indicated he is actually going ahead. There was Manish Tiwari was considering whether he should join the fray. There were other people. I think the names of Ashok Gehlot came forward, and we all were willing to support him openly, but then things went awry. Then Mukul Vasnik was a senior leader. He came in, but he opted out. Digvijay Singh said that he was contesting. That this morning the picture became clear that everybody else had opted out. Mr. Kharge became the front runner. Mr. Kharge called all of us and requested support of his nomination, and I think he generally fulfills all the requirements of a Congress president of being having won elections and having worked in the organization. he is a candidate option. So I think we decided to support him.
Okay, Mr. Chavan, you have a member of G23 in this contest, that is Dr. Shashi Tharoor, who has taken a line similar to all of you. But we are seeing this backing that is coming in from the members of the G23 for Mallikarjun Kharge. Many are seeing him being a Gandhi pick. So why are you backing him instead of one of your own?
No, it was never against Gandhi's or anything like that. Was a media creation. All our demand, the minimum demand that we had in that letter, and we continue to press that demand, was a full-time Congress president elected by an election process. Now, don't read anything more into it. It's definitely not against anybody, but a free and fair election as per the Congress constitution. That is a big victory. It has not happened for the last 22 years. And so I think let's not jump to the conclusion that things will not improve after that. Congress party will, after a very long time, get a full-time president. Mrs. Gandhi was a full-time president, but after she retired from politics, and after Mr. Gandhi also resigned suddenly, there was no full-time president at all. So that is a major demand which is accepted, and not just another appointed full-time president, but a president who is elected by the general body of the Congress party. Over 9,000 members will vote on 17th to elect a new president.
Since you're saying that this entire election process is free and fair, you're calling it historic as well, and you're saying this is not selection but election, then are you of the opinion that Dr. Shashi Tharoor should also opt out of this race? Perhaps withdraw his nomination before 8th, that is the last day of withdrawing the nomination?
No, neither has he asked me, nor if he asks me, I will not tell him that. If he thinks that he has no chance of getting elected, it's his choice. But I think it's a very good thing that election is happening. We are going to cast our ballot, cast our vote on the 17th of next month. It's a very, very big thing. 22 years. I mean, it's a sign of party being vibrant again and determined to fight BJP. Why should we always think negatively that things will not go right, or it will be somebody else will control the party? No,
Fine enough.
Mr. Kharge is a very, very senior member of the Congress party.
Fine enough. Mr. Chavan, my last question to you. How do you look at this entire episode that has happened in the context of Mr. Ashok Gehlot and Rajasthan?
Well, I think it was very unfortunate, could have been avoided. Whenever a question mark appears or comes before who the leader of the legislative party, state legislative party is, a time-honored tradition is the Congress High Command or the Congress President sends the General Secretary in charge of the state and maybe one or two other additional observers or some advisors to a state. They asked to meet the MLAs, and CLP meeting of the Congress Legislative Party was organized. Unfortunately, the MLAs there defied that request, and they should have met the observers and they should have given their frank and fair opinion, frank and fair views, that they did not want a change in the leadership, that they wanted a particular person, they did not want a particular person, but that did not happen. So it tantamount to indiscipline, and that's why Mr. Ashok Gehlot apologized, because he was the leader of the legislative party and his party members did not behave as per the Congress discipline. So that's why he also opted out. We had publicly agreed to support him if he was the Congress candidate. He was the candidate for the election, but unfortunately he withdrew. After that, Mr. Mukul Vasnik's name also floated around. We would have supported him also, the young colleague from Maharashtra. Then Mr. Digvijay Singh, we saw on the television that he had wanted to contest the election. So again, so many people wanted to contest the election was a very healthy tradition being revived after a very long time. We had only read in history books about Purushottam Das Tandon and about Subhash Babu and Mahatma Gandhi's role and all that thing. And there have been active elections being fought, and after the election there was bitterness for some time, but that was patched over. And so nothing wrong with there's a well contested election. It shouldn't lead to bitterness and personal animosity, but a well-contested election. Yes, she is very free to make the points that he's been making in our group and our meets. And I think it's a big victory, big win for us that the election is happening is a big thing in itself after 22 years.
All right, Mr. Chairman, really appreciate your time. Does it actually mean now that there'll be no G23 anymore after several members of the G23 were actually seen as proposers for Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge? Several twists and turns that we have seen on this story finally coming to an end. And what happens on 8th? Will Dr. Shashi Tharoor continue with the contest or will he withdraw his nominations? That and much more we'll continue to track very closely. That's all from me. Thanks so much for watching.